Order, honorable members. Order. Junet, you are out of order for conducting an illegal choir on the floor of the House. Honorable members, order. 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 Honorable members, for avoidance of doubt, the point made by Honorable Junet and Honorable Ichungwa, the President of the country is under no obligation to attend Parliament on the day when the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury and Planning comes not to read a budget, but to make a statement and give to the country his revenue-raising measures. Indeed, if the President chose to come, which he can, he will sit in the Speaker's row. He will not sit where I'm sitting, where he comes to sit to address the House. So there is no such thing as a crisis because the President is out of the country. Budget is a preserve and an activity of National Assembly, exclusively. Exclusively. Next order.
Order number 8, motion. Report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Agricultural and Livestock Extension Services Bill, Senate Bill number 12 of 2022. Question to be put and that reading.
Members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable Kainan, take your seat. Honorable members, Honorable Muliro. Honorable members, I'll now put the question at order number 8, which is that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Agricultural and Livestock Extension Services Bill, Senate Bill number 12 of 2022. As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover. Justice Kemei, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the Chairman of the Agriculture Committee, I beg to move that the Agricultural and Livestock Extension Bill, Senate Bill number 12 of 2022, be now read a third time. I also request Honorable Susan Ngugi to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Susan.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I second.
Thank you. Members on their feet, Ndengu, take your seat. Honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 8, which is that the Agricultural and Livestock Extension Bill, Senate Bill number 12 of 2022, be now read a third time. Do I put the question? Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 8, which is that the Agricultural and Livestock Extension Bill, Senate Bill number 12 of 2022, be now read a third time. As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for agricultural and livestock extension services, establish the agricultural and extension service, and for connected purposes.
Majority Leader, is now 3 o'clock. Will you search, find, and bring to the chamber the CS for National Treasury and Planning? Yes, order. Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, as you directed, I did not have to search for the minister. He was well within the principles of Parliament and on time. Honorable Speaker, it is now my pleasure and honor to present to the House and to the country, and to yourself, Honorable Speaker, the Minister for the National Treasury and Planning, FCPA, John Mbadi, expert.
Hold on, Minister. Take your seat. Honorable members, I have a short communication in relation to this agenda on order paper. Honorable members, as you are aware, the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning is to make the public pronouncement of the budget highlights and revenue-raising measures for the national government for the financial year 2026-27 and the medium term during this afternoon sitting. In this regard, and in accordance with the standing orders, I have designated a suitable place in the chamber for that purpose. Honorable members, it is in the tradition of this House to recognize invited guests seated in the galleries of our hallowed chamber. I therefore wish to recognize the presence of the following members of the Cabinet. Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, EGH, Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration. Honorable Geoffrey Ruku, Cabinet Secretary for Public Service, Human Capital Development and Special Programs. Honorable Soipan Tuya, EGH, Cabinet Secretary for Defense. Honorable Alice Wahome, EGH, Cabinet Secretary for Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development. Honorable Aden Duale, EGH, Cabinet Secretary for Health and Majority Leader Emeritus of this House. Honorable Julius Migos Ogamba, EPS, Cabinet Secretary for Education. Honorable Mutai Kagwe, EGH, Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, Livestock Development, a former colleague of mine in the Senate and my yearmate at the University of Nairobi. The Honorable Salim Mvuria, EGH, Cabinet Secretary for Youth Affairs and Sports. The Honorable Opio Wandai, EGH, Cabinet Secretary for Energy and Petroleum and Minority Leader Emeritus of this House. Mrs. Hannah Wendot Cheptumo, Cabinet Secretary for Gender, Culture and Arts and Heritage. Honorable Dorcas Oduor, Senior Counsel, EGH, the Attorney General. Mrs. Mercy Wanjao, EGH, Secretary to the Cabinet. Honorable members, I also acknowledge all Principal Secretaries and the accompanying officials. I accord special recognition to the Principal Secretaries for the National Treasury and Economic Planning, Dr. Chris Kipto, CBS, Mr. Cyril Odede, and Dr. Boniface Makoha, who work closely with the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning. Honorable members, we are also joined by the following judges of the Superior Courts. Honorable Justice Hilary Chemitei, Judge of the High Court. Honorable Justice Mohammed Kulo, Judge of the Environment and Land Court. Honorable Justice Onesimus Macau, Judge of the Employment and Labor Relations Courts. They are accompanied by the Deputy Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, Mr. Paul Ndemo, OGW. I also wish honorable members to recognize the heads and members of the constitutional commissions and independent officers, as well as the leadership of state corporations who are in attendance. I further wish to recognize the distinguished members of the diplomatic corps and who have graciously joined us for this event. I also acknowledge the presence of the chairperson of the Council of Governors, His Excellency FCPA, Ahmed Abdullahi, EGH, Governor of Wajir County, Honorable members, on behalf of the House, I extend a warm welcome to all our invited guests. The National Assembly is honored by your presence on this auspicious occasion. Your continued partnership and support to the work of Parliament is duly noted and valued. Honorable members, I now interrupt the business of the House to allow Honorable FCPA John Mbadi, EGH, the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Economic Planning, also former leader of the minority party in the National Assembly, to make public pronouncement of the budget highlights and revenue-raising measures for the national government for the financial year 2026-2027 and the medium term. The Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury, Honorable FCPA John Mbadi, EGH, you may now proceed with your afternoon job.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and honorable members of the 13th Parliament of the Republic of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, it is my honor and privilege to present to this august House and to the people of Kenya the budget statement for the financial year 2026-2027. I make this statement in fulfillment of the requirements of Section 40 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 412A, and Standing Order number 241 of the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, this is the first budget since the passing of the late Right Honorable His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, who is fondly remembered as a patriot and national hero, and who steadfastly championed economic justice, democracy, and equal opportunity for all Kenyans. His legacy continues to inspire and guide us as we transform Kenya into a newly industrialized and middle-income economy. In honor of his immense contribution to our country, I would politely request and invite members of this esteemed House to observe a moment of silence, which will take 1 minute.
Members be upstanding. Guests in the galleries be upstanding.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga was a key partner to His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, in the broad-based arrangement. Mr. Speaker, this budget captures the ideals of the two great leaders, especially on the aspiration to transform our economy from its current status to a more developed nation status, a path to Canaan through Singapore. The extensive public participation throughout the budget process presents a solid basis and foundation for what is clearly the people's budget. Mr. Speaker, public participation is a constitutional imperative. In compliance with this requirement, I personally led extensive public engagements with Kenyans from across the country in the last 1 year. This was meant to get their views and inputs to the budget that I am presenting today. For example, I met youth and business community, particularly boda operators, Juakali artisans, leadership of the Mitumba sector, and scrap metal dealers. I also engaged extensively with members of the Fourth Estate, and in the process, launched their Financial Journalists Association. Additionally, I traveled to various regions and conducted numerous regional dialogues. These include Kilifi in December 2025 for the Coastal Region Dialogue, Migori in Nyanza, Kakamega in Western, and Eldoret and Nakuru in Rift Valley regions in the month of January 2026. Mr. Speaker, in February 2026, I traveled to Kiambu and Meru counties, while in May 2026, I met the youth and the business community from Kajiado and Nairobi regions. The month of May and June 2026 have been very intense in terms of engagement. Mr. Speaker, besides these regional dialogues, I joined Bunge la Mwananchi community at Jivanji Gardens, Nairobi, and Gumzo la Uchumi Mashinani in Busia County for conversation with faith-based organizations in May 2026. I've also, on numerous occasions, appeared in a number of television stations expounding on what we are doing and what we intend to do as a government. Further, in the same month of May 2026, I returned to my alma mater, the University of Nairobi, where I had a dialogue with comrades at the Chandaria Auditorium. Mr. Speaker, in my engagements with Mwananchi, I walked into a couple of shops to directly engage with the mobile phone dealers on the proposed tax changes, that is the excise duty on mobile phones. Additionally, last Thursday, 4th of June 2026, I joined a panel of eminent professionals on the Citizen Digital X-Space in unpacking the Finance Bill 2026. The eminent professionals included FCPA Professor Elizabeth Kalunda, the chairperson of Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, Mr. Fred Kimodho, Deloitte Tax Policy Lead, Mr. Raymond Mulenje, the Chief Executive Officer, Kenya Bankers Association, Mr. Tobias Alando, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and Mr. Kwame Owino, the Chief Executive Officer, Institute of Economic Affairs. A total of 15,847 Kenyans tuned in, while live listeners topped 14,249. Mr. Speaker, the message from Kenyans across the country, from our rural villages to our bustling towns and cities, the ordinary Mwananchi is clear and consistent in their messaging. They have genuine expectations from the government. Kenyans want an economy that works for them, an economy where the cost of living is manageable, where opportunities for employment and businesses are expanding, and where the benefits of economic growth are shared widely across society. Mr. Speaker, Wananchi want to see a government that listens to their concerns and responds with policies that promote opportunity, fairness, and prosperity. They want to see a government that protects their livelihoods, a government that supports farmers and small businesses, empowers the youth and women, and ensures that public resources are used prudently and transparently. Above all, the people of Kenya want assurance that their hard-earned taxes will translate into tangible improvements in their daily lives. Mr. Speaker, the main feedback from all these engagements was that the government should reduce the overall cost of living by lowering the tax burden on essential commodities, tame wastage of public resources, and decisively deal with corruption. Mr. Speaker, among the concerns and anxieties raised by Kenyans is the fear of potential outbreaks of infectious diseases, including Ebola, given the reported cases in some countries within the region. And so, Mr. Speaker, I wish to underscore that while Kenya is currently free of any confirmed Ebola virus disease, the government has activated the National Ebola Incident Management System to coordinate surveillance and response. Already, enhanced screening is taking place at all the points of entry, especially the airports and border points. The government has, in the meantime, trained over 1,000 health workers and put together a reserve team of 241 experts in epidemiology, laboratory services, and emergency response who remain on standby for rapid deployment. The government has also designated isolation and treatment facilities across the country, including at Kenyatta National Hospital and the National Police Service Hospital. The Ministry of Health is working closely with regional and international partners, including the World Health Organization, Africa CDC, IGAD, and the East African Community on this matter. Mr. Speaker, these efforts are further supported by our development partners. Already, the government of the United States of America has committed approximately US $13.5 million towards health security interventions, including disease surveillance and emergency preparedness. In addition, the World Bank has mobilized resources under the Regional Recovery and Resilience Operation program, which will support, among others, interventions in strengthening the health systems. Mr. Speaker, these resources, complemented by domestic budgetary allocations, will significantly enhance Kenyans' capability and capacity to prevent, detect, and respond to Ebola and other epidemic-prone diseases while safeguarding livelihoods and maintaining economic stability. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, this demonstrates that this government is listening and responding to the concerns of citizens. On other concerns Kenyans raised with me during the public engagements I highlighted above, I will be elaborating on intervention that the government is putting in place to cushion Kenyans and improve their livelihoods. Mr. Speaker, the budget for financial year 2026-2027 will prioritize various interventions under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda that promote private sector-led growth, expand employment opportunities, and enhance delivery of public services while preserving fiscal sustainability and building resilience against emerging economic challenges. Mr. Speaker, this budget is being presented at a time of heightened global uncertainty arising from the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. The conflict has disrupted global commodity markets and supply chains, weakened investor confidence, and tightened financial conditions. These developments have heightened risks to growth and inflation, increased pressure on public finances, and created uncertainty in global markets. For a developing economy such as Kenya, the impact is being felt through higher pump prices following a steep increase in global oil prices from an average of $63.06 per barrel in February 2026 to $94.4 per barrel by end of May 2026. In addition, tighter financing conditions, weakening export demand, slower investment flow, and rising cost of living continue to exert pressure on economic activities. Yet, even in this environment, new opportunities are emerging. Countries that strengthen competitiveness, deepen regional integration, and build resilient productive capacity will be the ones that will thrive. Mr. Speaker, it is against this backdrop that Kenya's economic journey over the past 3 years stands as a story of resilience. Difficult but necessary choices were made, delivering a steady recovery. Faced with significant domestic and external pressures and shocks, the government took difficult but necessary decisions to restore macroeconomic stability, strengthen public finances, and lay a firm foundation for sustainable growth. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, the hard decisions are bearing fruits. Under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, we have recorded clear gains. First, the Kenyan economy has remained resilient and registered an average rate of 5% in the period of 2022 to 2025, outperforming the average global growth rate of 3.4% and that of sub-Saharan Africa of 4.1%. Importantly, macroeconomic stability has been preserved. Confidence in our economy has actually strengthened, and the foundation for sustained growth are now firmly in place. Macroeconomic fundamentals such as inflation and exchange rate have strongly rebounded and are projected to remain stable. Interest rates have declined, supporting growth in private sector credit from the banking industry. We have also accumulated the highest levels of official foreign exchange reserves of $13.2 billion, which is equivalent to 5.6 months of import cover by May 2026, providing adequate cover and a buffer against short-term domestic and external shocks. Mr. Speaker, let me mention some of the key achievements. Since the rollout of better or bottom-up economic transformation agenda, the agriculture sector has registered key gains that include the following: reduced fertilizer costs through government subsidy programs, increased marketed agricultural production, expanded food security interventions, and strengthened farmer support services targeting both smallholder and commercial farmers. Specifically, fertilizer disbursements under the fertilizer subsidy program have increased substantially to 21.3 million bags in 2025 from, listen to this, 1.4 million bags disbursed in 2022. While the cost of a 50 kilogram bag of fertilizer declined from 7,500 shillings per bag to 2,500 shillings per bag. As a result of this, farmers realized estimated savings of approximately 105 billion shillings over a 2-year period, enabling increased investment in production. Agricultural production has increased significantly between 2022 and 2025. For example, maize production almost doubling to 67 million bags in 2025 from 34 million bags in 2022. While maize imports have declined substantially to 3.3 million bags from 9.9 million bags over the same period, reflecting improved domestic efficiency. The increased production contributed to a decline of retail prices of a 2 kilogram packet of maize flour from an average of 250 shillings to an average of 165 shillings over the same period. Paddy rice production also increased significantly to 303,724 metric tons in 2025 from 192,299 metric tons in 2022. To support expanded cultivation, the area under rice production in public irrigation schemes increased from 48,324 acres to 71,624 acres. Potato production increased to 2.5 million tons in 2025 from 1.8 million tons in 2022. And milk production increased to 5.5 million liters in 2025 from 4.6 million liters. Let me repeat that. Production of milk has increased from 5.5 billion liters in 2025 from 4.6 billion liters in 2022. The increased production has improved food security, reduced dependence on food imports, and contributed to more stable food prices and higher farmer incomes. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, farmers across the other sector, various value chains, have enhanced production and benefited from higher earnings. Tea production has grown to 550.4 million kilograms in 2025 from 535 million kilograms in 2022, while tea export earnings rose significantly to Kenya shillings 187 billion from Kenya shillings 163 billion over the same period. To support rehabilitation of aging plantations and expansion of coffee acreage, the government distributed coffee seedlings progressively across the years, including 85,000 seedlings distributed in the financial year of 23-24, 809,000 seedlings in financial year 2024-2025, and 3,127,769 seedlings in financial year 2025-2026, and a further 2,242,769 coffee seedlings under the March to May 2026 long-range program. As a result of these interventions, the area under coffee has increased from 115,500 hectares in 2025 from 109,385 hectares in 2022. In the edible oils industry or sector, the area under edible crops increased significantly to 114,350 hectares in 2025 from 60,000 hectares in 2022, reflecting growing farmer participation and investment in the subsector. Further, Mr. Speaker, interventions under the sugar sector has led to significant growth in both cane production and processing capacity, with the area under sugarcane cultivation increasing by 19.4% and national sugar production rising to 815,454 metric tons in 2024 from 472,773 metric tons in 2022. Mr. Speaker, having spoken about agriculture, and you can see the kind of improvement that has taken place in agriculture, let me now turn to healthcare. Access to healthcare has expanded substantially through far-reaching reforms. Primary care networks have been established and operationalized. A total of 107,831 community health promoters have been recruited and trained, while 16,810 medical interns have undergone internship, bringing healthcare services closer to communities. Mr. Speaker, the government recognizes the critical role the contracted healthcare facilities play in the delivery of healthcare services to Kenyans. It is with this in mind that the government in the current financial year of 25-26 allocated 4 billion for settlement of outstanding National Hospital Insurance Fund pending bills. And going forward, we will settle the balance of the bills that are owed under the defunct National Hospital Insurance Fund and which span over the years. Mr. Speaker, this allocation is specifically designated for settlement of NHIF pending bills owed to contracted health care facilities in accordance with the presidential directive that prioritized the clearance of outstanding obligations for facilities with claims not exceeding 10 million shillings. The claims earmarked for settlement under this allocation have been duly verified and adjudicated and will be fully paid before the close of this financial year, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the government will subsequently prioritize payment of the outstanding claims exceeding the 10 million threshold once verified in the next budget. Mr. Speaker, the government has accelerated implementation of the affordable housing program to address Kenya's housing deficit, create jobs, stimulate local manufacturing, support MSMEs, strengthen county economies, and improve the quality of life for millions of Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, through the program, number one, a total of 277,281 housing units have been completed or are under implementation nationwide as at May 2026. Two, the program has also successfully aggregated demand through the Bomayangu platform, where more than 1 million Kenyans have registered their interest in home ownership, demonstrating both the scale of housing demand and growing public confidence in the government housing agenda. And I hope they will not listen to other voices outside there. Number three, to improve living conditions for students and support the expansion of higher education, the government has packaged 177,686